cleaning up the Cash Cup on his birthday, had a phenomenal performance yesterday to also guarantee him spot here, and he has priority on this next zone. What that means is he's the closest to where the safe zone has to go past, so as it funnels and everyone else rotates, they have to go past Hen. You do not get to past Hen, and you notice he's built so much space around him, so he can't be shot at in return. All of these shots are completely safe, so anything he's able to convert on will turn into points for him here, as another placement point does take over. Now he's not shooting through that wall. That is just one of the graphical issues with the replay. He's picking up tags, but now you can see setting up a crash pad, going to use it to go on the rotation late, and he picked up a key elimination onto YZip there as we have our top 35.
And it's such a key elimination because he gets Jules' glider gun, and now he's got free rotation everywhere. He could win this game based off that elimination. It was such an impact elimination, but he's being a little bit too greedy on that zone. He did get tagged up, but he's still good. Rotation coming in. We do see Safek going down, and rotation X Squeeze went down as well. So a lot of the big names are out of this game, but Han looking to keep his stream alive and take down one player who landed right on top of him. That was a very, very heads-up elimination onto Pablo, but he's not that healthy. He has those minis in his inventory, about 126 effective HP. He needs to find another one.
He needs to find the outside. He can't be in this cluster. It's really weird to take the grapple gun and then immediately go into the middle because you don't really have the ability to utilize it, and that's what we're looking for, getting towards the outside of the zone so he has more options there. Anas, teammate up on the high ground there, but this is the solos competition, just playing for the same org. You have Gamers Origin, Deceptos there on the middle as we tick over top 25. Another point going through. Anas running through the high ground. Reason still in the match, and you can see Deceptos picks up Ardit there as top 20 ticks over. Another point going through, and right as I say his name, Reason ends up going down. This is looking like a Become Legends top 15 right now, as they have 3 or 4 players still up, but Deceptos trying to find the space, finding a good job, tarping his way through and making sure that he owns all of the builds on this level as we close in on top 15. Bad Sniper missing out on a key placement point, and Deceptos looking to try and find a pick on this Crash Pad player, doing a good job to deny the rotation, finds a tag, but not able to necessarily convert it. So many shots, there's no elimination coming through, and he has to find that. That's such a key pickup. Inside the top 15 we go. Can he chase down this player? And he finally gets it. That snipe going down, but Hen is still up, picking up Orion as we get into our top 10.
Deceptos is going to have to make a play as it's going up a little bit of an incline. You see it. The old builds are there as well. Han is going to fall. Slick going to fall in tandem. Top 10 placement points being missed out by both of them. That's a huge boost as well. Deceptos able to hold on to the player on the other side. Shots are coming through. He's getting the tags, and he does. Frenzy Fishy is going to go down. Deceptos needs to get out of zone, though. He is sitting and ticking. He doesn't have any floppers. He's looking to get in, and he does, but a shot comes through. Floki going to be the one to take him down, and now 2 eliminations here for Floki. The player right on top of him. He's got to be careful. Shots go through. Back into zone goes Floki. Ticking down very, very low. Now inside his zone, he's good to go, but this is looking really, really rough. He doesn't have floppers. Mr. X is going to go down. Stacy going to be the one to do it. He's still trying to be popped there. And look at Anas just Tyro whopping all the way up top. He's just walking over old builds. I don't know how many builds he's got left, but he may be able to win this just solely based on the fact that's going over old builds.
And the old builds giving him priority. That moving zone, we talked about it. It just randomly pulls a distance back away, which means you can continue your rotation. And on top of having the old builds, his saving grace has the mythic loadout as well. So this is so big for him as we move into the top 5. 4 players left, but Anas has complete control over this lobby. You can see Tayson as well in the middle. Scramguard and Snazy are going to round out your top 4. Who will finish it off? Will Anas continue the run of the caddy corner loot, proving it out, or can someone from the low ground shut him down as Tayson picks up Scramguard? So each elimination, each placement here, an additional point as Tayson ends Snazy right there. But the shockwave launcher comes out right away and knocks him over to the zone. And Anas does get tagged, but he's able to pop the flop in the zone and then gets the follow-up tag with 6 HP to spare. Become Legends Anas from the high ground. 4 eliminations in the Victory Royale, taking game number 2.
The flop was what he needed to pop, and he did do just that. The Victory Royale going to be nice. I think may be able to move into first place after that game just on the number of points and the eliminations, but we're definitely going to need the analysts to break that one down, so we're going to send it right over to them here in a moment.
Thank you guys so much. Great cast here in game number 2 of Europe. Anas finding the victory royale there. Mad props to him. Now, here's the thing, though. Tayson, another big name we're used to seeing. We keep talking about the quality of players. This is someone who is coming in strong. Ends that game in 5 eliminations. Had he picked up that VR, that 4-point swing would have actually moved him higher up the leaderboard. And we'll see that as we take a look at the standings and look at who is currently holding down that number 1 spot.
Usually who ends up winning the game is always at first. That is the same story here right now. BL and Nos all the way up top. Victory Royale, 7 elims, 28 points. But what happened that game was a bunch of eliminations from top players, changing the standings from 2nd all the way to 10th.
And there's BL Hen in 2nd there. Somebody definitely to keep an eye on because he placed 4th in the first game. Not necessarily the biggest boost in points this game. Other names too, Deciptos, who's the king of placing 5th place. The French legend who came out there in the Invitational starting to rise up. But then Tayson, Zeke, you mentioned him. Getting that 2nd place will boost him way up, but he could have done more. Reason still stays around the 9th place mark, but still improves at least in this game.
And there, we move on over Letwick, Scramguard, Bad Sniper, Kinzel, Mongrel, Carrot. I mean, look at all these names. Thomas HD, Floki, Frenzy Fishy. There's so much heat coming off of the grand finals right now. Every single person could walk away the victor, and especially when we're this tight, and we still have 4 games left to go, boys. Anything could still happen. There's all these guys at the top making these power moves right now.
You're saying look at the names. I'm looking at the points, too. You're mentioning that it's tight. It's like a 2-point difference between everyone. They are neck and neck. Become Legend Slicks is here, too. Twain's, Ardits. Like, all these guys are playing so well, but they're playing well while others are, too. And no one can really break away. Benji, who we're used to seeing in the top 10, at 24th. And from what I'm seeing, he's having good games still. It's not enough, though, for that number 1 spot.
It's kind of another kind of slow start for Benji, which I think some people are maybe starting to get a little used to. He always rises at the top, but that might be a sign that it's back to, the old Benji of Grand Finals, the one who does get good performances and is in the top 10, top 15, very solid out of 100 players, but not quite that win that he's looking for.
And together, guys, we got to talk about it. More of these powerful plays coming out of these impact players, making what they need to happen, really manifesting this win right here, right now.
Yeah, Grand Finals is all about power, and it comes in many different forms. We're starting off with how power struggles on early games off-spawn fights, and Noah Riley, Mr. Savage, they had a big battle down. Noah showed that he was more powerful.
And it's all because Benji scares Noah into going somewhere else, but into somebody who might end up struggling because of it. Benji, though, saw a sign of weakness, and because of that, he will pounce, try to grab more space. Kiriachi looking in the background, and Benji knows, and he will hunt. This is one of the best players at fighting in the early and mid game, and Benji is not scared whatsoever.
Got power vacuum basically here over at Slurpy Swamp, and Benji gets in the box with style, breaks through, hits a big shot, and shows his power afterwards as well.
And is that show of power, is that show of confidence something that we're used to seeing out of Benji? I say yes, but it might be overconfidence as he pushes a fight against one of the best players in the world. Now we're switching over to Flois, and for him, it's a shift.
Yeah, for him, he was holding power in game number 1, continues to, dropping down Froggy, who was in 2nd place on the leaderboards at the time, but holding power sometimes comes with a cost. He loses it over to Advise, and we see one of our new players who are in that 2nd place slot.
2nd place for Hen after a very good game number 1, and follows it up with a pretty decent game number 2, a 10th place for him, but a couple of elims to boot. And that will put him where he needs to be if he wants to grab that crown at the end of the day, the ultimate sign of power. He falls in 11th, but that's at least solid enough.
Yeah, and this is where power starts for a lot of players in this game. It was Anas who ends up winning, who had Caddy Corner and the Mythic Loot as well. The Shockwave Launcher, Kits Charge Shotgun too. And he just made power become his tool in this endgame. He became Legend incarnate, literally just personifying the organization he's on and using this entire endgame as a playground bouncing people up, shooting them down afterwards. Look at that two-piece right there. Anas looks so dynamic, and yes, we saw Flois with the hunting rifle. We saw him with the charged shotgun last time, but for me, it was Anas's gameplay, his creativity that really separated him from the pack and showed us his use of power.
And Anas, that's kind of what we were talking about at Caddy Corner last time. We saw Thomas there for a brief moment, but this time it goes down. Kit spawns down at the gas station, and that's where Anas is lurking. He had a good game last time in 10th place, but if you want to become a legend at the end of the day, if you want to solidify yourselves among the great, immortalize yourself, you need to have games like that. And Anas and Hen, both at the top of the leaderboards, org mates, and they're standing strong.
Both of these guys are definitely looking to break away. I mean, Anas is ahead of the game, 28 points, but Shy, is that going to hold?
Didn't hold in game number 1 with Flois. I feel like when Anas gets that top slot, he holds it completely, especially at Caddy Corner. So I feel like, yes, that's my call.
I like it. Quick and concise. With that being said, guys, let's throw it into game number 3 here in EU of the FNCS Grand Finals. Casters, we're sending it back your way to get into the action.
Thank you so much, Zeke, Shio, and Bala. Insightful as always, and everyone is looking to become a legend, but right now the Become Legends players occupying first and second. And if you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Sundown, joined here by the fantastic, as always, Clay Stelling. This is match number 3, the halfway point of the EU FNCS Solos Grand Final. And if you're watching at Party Royale and you just dropped in, hit one of those telephone booths, the changing stations. Make sure you get your favorite outfit on, then head on over to the main stage, catch the action out. You can see where everyone's dropping right now.
And if you notice, the yacht only has 1 player on it, so I'm interested to see who that player is. Is it Savage? Is it Noah Riley, who came out on top? And of course, who's going to come out of Caddy Corner on top? That is always a question in all of these players' minds.
Right now you can see cutting over the top of the lake, but switching over to Anas, who's landing over towards the weather station side on Caddy. You can see looking to figure out if he's going to be able to go through, pick up any amount of that loot, drop down into this area, see what's going on. As of right now, doesn't look like he's actually going to have a contestant in, but you can see also a number of players off and over just to the southwest of him. So right now, first shot coming out, we talked about those early hunting rifle tags, but not quite going to find it again. Anas, game number 2 winner, current first place right now.
And he's in a very good spot to keep that first place, but Hin right behind him. We've got to keep our eye on that elimination feed for that come up as well. If Hin, only 3 points behind, is able to make a play to start to make the ground up, is Vadil going to get some nice shots there. The Chug Splashers, though, are going to get that player up. The nice edit is going to drop the player down. The edit around as well. He's got him boxed up, but the fish is going to escape as Vadil looking to crash pad on in, using the jump there. He's actually not going to go in. He's going to take the wall and the cone up top, and that was so smart to outplay Advise there.
Well done picking up Advise there. We talked about kind of the different types of crash pads and then the variations you're able to use. Him jumping up prevented him from falling in. So then when Advise went to exit, the situation got picked up, but now over to Slurpy Swamp. We watched this fight happen last time. Benji aggressively pushed Kiriachi, saying, no splitting going on here. This is my side. But Kiriachi now looking to be the predator instead of the prey and closing in on Benji as he's hitting these slurp barrels. So wants to kind of resolve this beforehand. And now box to box, how do 2 of the best players in the world close out this box fight? Do they look to take each other on, or are they just kind of trying to disengage the situation? Right now Benji's saying, hey, I need more mats if we're going to go toe to toe.
He disengaged perfectly, got up, and is out. I also want to point out 35 of the current players also competed in the FNCS Invitational Finals. So they've been here before. They've been in this Grand Finals. They know what to do, especially these 2 players on the screen right now. As Kiriachi is going to take some damage there from Benji, who is keeping that pressure up with that rare tactical shotgun, and now looking to find a creative way inside. Kiriachi actually went up and around. The shots going through, exchanging high ground and exchanging shots. As Benji takes a nice tag there on Kiriachi. He still has yet to take any damage himself. Kiriachi is still pushing. This is exactly what we expect from him. And Benji baiting him to drop down. And Kiriachi was ready. The back and forth going in favor of Benji right now. Kiriachi keeping the pressure up. Benji going to get tagged up a lot there because he couldn't build the floor. He's trying to pickaxe for that code as the edits come through. Benji going through old builds. This is really good, but once you reset that metal, it's very, very weak, and it's easy to hit. But he's put some distance in between him, Kiriachi, and Domenia Snipe.
I was about to say, Domenia Snipe, hearing the action going on, wants to take a peek inside, but he very well knows who's there, and I'm not sure you want to jump on into that pond. Don't want to get boxed like a fish between those two. It's more like getting boxed between two sharks, a rock in a hard place. You pick which one and who's who, because Benji, right now, just again, looks like he's done enough to fend off Kiriachi. You say, how long are we going to do this for? How long are we going to burn mats and just sit here and force each other back? Because both of these players are good enough to hold the other off, or at least make them pay for it if you don't get that initial ambush off of the start, which is why you now see Kiriachi kind of backing up a little bit, making sure he gets some mats before heading back in towards Benji again, looking to potentially respark this engagement.
And I'm not surprised from Kiriachi. He is very, very aggressive, but we'll have to see if that turns out in any of their favors as Seventor now being aggressive onto Diablo. Diablo going to get the initial shots there, and now Seventor can disengage if they want to, but on the edge of zone, really hard to disengage because you're trying to run away, then you're just going to get shot in the back, and it's just unfortunate there. So box to box, diagonal to diagonal, Diablo and Seventor looking to do a little peanut butter edit, look to get that jump shot there. Seventor looking to get any sort of wall take back, and he does, but Diablo ready for it. The shot comes through, the quick reset there. Going to get the tag in favor of Seventor, but still not as much HP there as Diablo. His shots are still coming through. He does pop a mini. Continued back and forth over these peanut butter edits. That's that triangle edit that you see as he goes in. He goes aggressive with that crash pad, but Diablo was ready for it. Did you see how many edits he had, how many space he had in between him and Seventor? He was predicting that perfectly, but Seventor's ready for the edit. He's ready for Diablo hopping up, and he said, you know what? I'll bait the heal out, but I'm going to get that elimination.
Yeah, and a really good job from Seventor there, baiting Diablo into something that he had owned and then committed him to the fight, caught him with the builds out, and then following up with the tactical shotgun. And it's really fruitful to resolve that fight because there was a player boxed up right on the edge of zone who would have been able to rain shots down. And again, if you are just joining that, there's the format on the right-hand side. You can see first round of placement points coming through, top 75, next one at top 50. Then it's every 10 players to fall until we reach top 25. Then it's every 5 players until you're into the top 3. So definitely want to be making those end games, but also 1 point per each elimination, as Carrot will pick up Phoenix there. Will also get a point, and that's his second of the match.
And he may have taken coolest out of his name, but right now he's the coolest of the authority, picking that elimination up. He's been very, very good. He actually, I believe, one of the players that came through the open track of the FNCS Invitationals. That happened a couple months ago, but still maintaining prowess over the authority here. He was here back when it was the agency, so dominant performance from Carrot. He's also got the zone there as well. You see him already building up and refarming. In Misty Meadows, however, Ardent looking to set up an ambush like we've talked about, hiding in this little upgrade room. He can catch anybody waiting to upgrade their loot. He's got a great charge to do it with a legendary at that. And look, somebody is taking the bait. They are coming into the house. The question is, will they open it? He set a trap up perfectly. He set a trap up, but he put a wall, Griff. Put a wall there. The peppers, the shields, everything being popped there. Ardent, though, not going to be able to spring the trap as Griff was ready for it, and Griff turns the tide.
Sometimes you set the trap in the bait, but turns out you are the bait and you don't reel in what you want. That's what we talked about. He was looking for a slurp fish and instead pulled one of the loot sharks there. Griff turning it around after a rough game number 2, getting eliminated pretty much basically off drop. Ardent trying to spring a little bit of an ambush there, but instead going down. So good job on Griff. And we saw also had a very, very, very impressive run in order to make the qualifier here, but now on board with E11's Tayson, a player who we saw be super successful in the heats yesterday. The problem is he hasn't necessarily really converted it today. We've consistently seen him towards the top. He was actually 7th coming in, so not doing too bad today, but probably also a little bit outside in terms of the placement that he would be wanting, averaging a top 27 placement and 5 elims total across the 2 games.
And I think that may be due to the amount of loot that he's getting. He isn't steamy with 3 or 2 other players. It's really, really hard to find all that loot. And you see it in his inventory right now. He does have crash pads, but that common AR is not going to net you a lot of eliminations. He's going to have to find a way to upgrade that, whether that be through an impact elimination or finding one naturally. As it seems like this is the open side of zone, and that meaning there's not that many people all around him. He's got a little space to work with there. Someone who doesn't have that much space is there's a lot of players nearby. Bad sniper. He does have 15 points, a decent first couple of games, but not where he wants to be. There is a player nearby. He's got to be careful with the snipe, and if you don't have it, he's going to turn the beams back onto him, but not going to hit it. He is only 22 above Storm Surge, and that is nowhere near safe, as you see it already ticking down to 19.
Yeah, and that Storm Surge threshold on the right side of your screen there. The number for zone number 3 is 70, so currently 17 players have to go down. Bad Sniper will be starting to look for tags here, but also doesn't necessarily want to overbuild himself too much because he doesn't have a ton of materials and he is out in the open. So if he has a lot of players who opt to end up spamming towards him, it can be difficult. And he's not in the safe zone yet, and now only 4 above. You talked about how kind of that threshold just keeps on ticking. So he's trying to trade some tags out, get himself above. We have Ovation Arion and Smudge closing in on him, as well as 2 players already in the zone and coming back, and this is going to be key. And he got it! Huge tags and the Elam coming on to Meta Shrimsy. Super unfortunate, using the crash pads desperately trying to get in zone, but even with those tags, only 62 above.
And you can tell he's not happy with it. He's already looking to move into zone and set up for another couple tags because he's going to need it. The 62 above just turned to 60 above, and then it's going to turn to 52 above. And you're going to start